On the surface, this next storyteller grew up in a dream under the Klieg lights. His tale takes us under the surface where the dream became a nightmare until he wakes himself up. Please welcome the fully conscious Ben Curtis.
Does anyone remember Tony Curtis, the golden era Hollywood star? He was my father, a great actor and an insatiable addict. It's difficult to recall a time in my life that drugs and alcohol weren't present. After my parents' divorce, I'm 8 and my brother's 10. And we go to visit Dad at his new condo in Bel Air. As we walk into the kitchen, we see a glass pipe, rolling papers, bottles of alcohol, white powder, and marijuana all over the countertops. There's a smell, a burnt smell, and a handful of different women coming and going from his bedroom. He must have just forgot we were coming over. That's why he didn't clean up. We yell, "Dad, we're here," and then run outside to play at the tennis courts and pool. Before drugs, my father was polished and celebrated, but he became a different person when he started using. His charming, untouchable persona disappeared. Suddenly, our celebrity dad with the $1 million smile seemed sad. We hadn't seen this before. It was around this time that he started looking for a new bachelor pad. One day we go house hunting and find ourselves at a modern cliff-hanging house in the hills. Nick and I run off to explore and find marijuana plants on a secluded terrace. We tear off pieces of the plant and hide them in our pockets. Once we are alone, we attempt to smoke the green leaves and stems, with little success. We didn't get high, but we wanted to. We wanted to see what all the fuss was about. Time will tell. So now I'm 12. My dad takes us on a boys' trip, not a camping trip, a week-long stay at his friend Hef's house, the Playboy Mansion. As soon as we arrive at this castle, Dad disappears to start partying, and we are left to explore this adult amusement park. Game rooms, exotic animals, tropical birds, and naked ladies. We can do anything we want, even drugs, without getting in trouble. I go to the arcade to play Pac-Man, and this beautiful lady in a white bra and panties asks me my name. I say, "Ben." She says, "I know who you are. My name is Carrie." She shows me around and looks after me for the week. I fall in love with her. She's the best babysitter I ever had. And I had some of the greats. Me and my brother watched the grown-ups get served drugs on silver platters. So we learn once again, nothing bad will happen to you. You can do and have anything you want. And drugs aren't dangerous. They're a treat exclusively for fancy people. We don't see our father once during that week, and when we have to leave, my heart aches for Carrie. Fantasy camp is over. Till the next one. 9 years later, Nick overdoses and dies at the age of 23. A devastation of unbelievable proportions. Yet I still feel invincible, and I just don't care anymore. Nick is gone. I could be gone. So what? He tried heroin. I don't do that stuff. I can control myself. At this point in my life, I'm living in LA, close to my dad again. He isn't doing drugs anymore, but I am. Each night looks a little different, but basically the same. I meet up with someone who can supply me with enough drugs to share. Then I go to my favorite bars and clubs. If I'm running low on cash, I steal some hundreds from my dad's wallet. I deserve this, I think. He won't miss it anyway. Besides, I'm only doing what he would do in my situation. Survival of the rich and famous. The drug use around me feels glamorous. It's everywhere. I'm not getting high in some rundown meth house. I'm around people the world sees as highly successful and artistic. I'm high on and off for the next several years. High through a Vegas wedding where I elope with a woman 10 years older than me. High through the birth of my first son, then high through my divorce. In fact, high through just about everything. The drugs and alcohol tell me that my son would be better off without me, so I don't fight for anything. The drugs tell me that my son wouldn't care. I use all my broken defense mechanisms and try to pretend he doesn't exist. Once again, drugs are the destructive force of my family, but this time by my own doing. I do stints in celebrity rehab facilities that leave me feeling bored and still empty. There are wounds in my heart I can only numb when I'm high or drunk. Sobriety doesn't seem like such a prize when the ribbon at the end of the line is emotionless pain. I hit my mid-40s with crashing realizations. My oldest son, Nicholas, grew up with a part-time dad, and my two youngest sons are growing up with a damaged father. I don't know who I am. I'm a character in a movie. I'm making the same destructive choices my father made. My first step toward recovery is the realization that I've become an identity dictated by privilege and escape, and I can't stand the thought of that anymore. My internal clock tells me I must search. My life depends on it. I feel the pain like a bolt of lightning, and there's no turning back. I have now been in recovery for 7 years. Maine has become my most solid foundation, my home base. For the first time in my life, I voluntarily seek out therapeutic solutions, healing wounds I used to numb with anything and everything except acknowledgement. I am a present father. I live between moments of fulfillment and happiness, which are frequent. I look forward to every day and take pride in all my work, which keeps me grounded. I have learned that real life is possible, even when I've convinced myself it isn't. And it's never too late to start over and change. The truth has set me free.